I will show you improvements in build server startup and improvements in the logs and improvements in the error messages and fix for the problem with build server startup. The problem is that sometimes when you start RTist, you can see a message that the build server startup failed, and this is how the message looked like before. So this is a problem that customers experienced sometimes, and there are two issues that we were addressing. First is improve this error message and fix this error if possible, because it was shown quite often. And now I will show you that we have fixed, which places we have fixed to avoid this message. And also we have improved. So now this message, you will not get this the same message, but the messages will be more specific. This is RTist, and actually the build server, it is a model compiler running in server mode, and the settings for build server are specified in preferences. I would like to mention that actually there are several reasons why build server can fail to start. And the first reason is that also we have an RTist server, which is a server running on the GUI side in Eclipse. And it is responsible for sending and receiving commands and handling requests from model compiler server, and also sending requests to model compiler server. So first reason why model compiler server can fail to start is that this RTist server didn't start, and this was the case for one of our customers. And the problem was that we actually were starting these servers on a 0000 IP address, which actually is not a local host, but which can be accessed from other machines in your network. And in some cases, firewall was blocking startup and opening of ports on this 0000 IP address. And actually, in our case, when you are starting RTist on a machine, this is not necessary to use this address. And we have improved, and now we start this RTist server, and also we start model compiler server on a local host. And you can check this while using netstat operation, and you can check what are the ports that are listening, what are the ports that are opened, but also you can check the logs. We have improved the information that we are printing into the logs, and so this is my workspace. And first you have a workspace log. It is here. In the log you will get, so I will scroll down, and so there were some messages, but this is what happened when I was restarting Eclipse. And now you see that this RTist server, it is started on localhost, and it is actually explicitly stated here in the log. Before you couldn't see on which IP address it was started. Now you can see where it is started. Also, we have extended this message about Java support, and you can also see it in the log, which Java you are using and which is the exact versions of JVM. I would like to mention that we support Oracle. We supported Oracle before, and now we also support OpenJDK JVM, and both. If you will use OpenJDK, it can be used. It has two flavors of Java virtual machine. It can be an OpenJ9, or it can be a hotspot JVM, which is the default. So now you will get all of this information in the log, all the exact full versions of Java that you are using. So this is just useful if you have some problems and you want to see which exactly version are you using. Model compiler server, you see that this next command, it is starting model compiler server. And for model compiler server, we have a different log, and it is here. It is this MC server. So if we check what we have in the log, it is always appended at the end. And this line, it actually separates previous start of the server with the next start. And here you can see that first we are printing that we are starting on localhost. Then we are printing additional messages about the startup process. The second reason why model compiler server could fail to start is that it could took too much time for model compiler server to start in some slow environments. And now, if the case is like this, then you will get a special message saying that Eclipse couldn't receive information about model compiler start within the specified period of time, and this is how it will look like. So I will not demo this because now we have this time that RTist is waiting for model compiler server to start. So now it is 7 seconds, and it is enough. It is always enough, and I think 99% of cases, if you're okay on your machine, then it is enough, and you will not see this. But when testing, I on purpose introduced a delay, and this is how the error message will look like. You can also see that we have added a property, server timeout, and it is mentioned here in this message. So if in some cases you want to change this default timeout, you can use this system property and you can make it more or make it less. But it does not mean that we are always hanging for 7 seconds. When model compiler server is starting, we actually are waiting for a message saying that it has started. And we can check in the log that how much time does it take to start model compiler server. This is also a new information which is now printed, so you can check it in your logs. This is this information, and you see that it takes less than 2 seconds for model compiler server to start. This is on my machine, and usually it is even faster. It is less than 1 second. We will not wait for 7 seconds, but as soon as we get a reply, and this is a reply that Eclipse receives, RTist server receives, as soon as model compiler server has started, it will get a reply, and everything will proceed. And the third reason why model compiler server can fail to start is if your ports, the port range that you specify in the settings. So here in your build server settings, we specify a port range. And if the port range is too small and all the ports are occupied, then model compiler server will not be able to start. And also in this case, now there will be a special message saying that there is something wrong with ports or firewall. So this is how it will look like. You will explicitly see that the problem was in the ports, or maybe in firewall. Also, in all these messages, you have a link to preference page, and this is a link to this page where you can change your settings. Here also you can check the status of the build server, if it is running or if it is not running. For example, right now I see that my RTist server running on port 603. So if now I will change these settings, and I will apply and restart, then you will get a message here that explicitly saying that it couldn't start, and the reason is the port range. So now I will change it back, and you see also the status message, it has changed. So I will change it back and restart, and now it says that it is okay, and the status message is updated. So this is all about this demo. Do you have any questions?